This video will be, I want to come again from my experiences concerning insectoids, and there's a reason for that, but I can only do that. I've dealt with some intelligences that have been insectoid-like, so we're going to kind of touch on that and some of the aspects of it real quickly because I've addressed some of it before, but I think it's important just to expand our parameters of contact. Cool. Boom! Salutations. Quickly, I wanted to address the insectoid intelligence, extraterrestrial, interdimensional insectoid intelligence aspect of things. And the reason I kind of want to do that is recently Linda Moulton Howe, those of you that follow Earth Files, she's been talking about a group of insectoids called the Tarantuloids that she says comes from Epsilon Eridani, which I think is near the constellation of Centaurus. Anyway, Eridani, that's where they come from. And they're described as being kind of a different colored type of a brown, unless they're under ultraviolet, brown type of insect that are somewhat hideous. And I think that gives kind of the insectoids somewhat of a negative connotation, and which can be understandable to a degree. But I've had a lot of contact with like one in particular, which I've showed you before, which is Xandar rather. This picture here, there's another one I'll put up that is actually him in a white uniform. That's more what the uniform looked like. It did not look like that. Anyway, he looked like more of a grasshopper, okay? He was not your mantid type with the deal like that. I've talked about that a lot. So that's one type of insectoid I've dealt with, and he's from a Bell 2256 around that area out here. That's very, very distant. That's one example of this insectoid type I've dealt with, but there's another one and a different experience I'm going to bring to you, all right? It's very interesting. I've mentioned this before, but I don't know how elaborate I was on it. This experience here with the throne beings, when I was actually, this happened, excuse me, this was a conscious experience as far as I was conscious and I was having this experience with like these light beings. And they were in my field of vision. It felt like one of them was crawling on me, and they had a static type of energy to them, like static popping around, all right? And these were definitely had a type, despite these beautiful colors and light I'm seeing, they had a type of an insectoid buzz feeling to them, distinctively. And I don't know why, in the way, even the patterns they were doing in my third eye, when I closed my eyes, I could see, look like almost like spiders on water, how they move weird like that. They were doing patterns like that, emitting this light. but they had type of a insectoid buzz type of feeling to them. And that, again, I've said during that experience, they were sent, my own guide type, these insectoids or whatever they were, they were non-physical though, light beings, were sent to distract my physical body consciously while I was bi-located in front of these beings. So that's heavy unto itself. But anyway, that takes us into this other premise of once dealing with actually these type of intelligences and vibration. You know, there's an episode of Star Trek, the original series, called in the Wink of an Eye, and it's where Kirk gets actually accelerated by these beings. They beam down on this planet, and they say there's insects there, and they seem to beam them back up. And Spock's saying, no, there's not, but actually it's this woman, and they put something in his coffee and they speed him up, and everybody's moving real slow. But he leaves a message for Spock during that episode saying they have to detonate this machine. And when Spock is forwarding it, when he first plugs in the data tape, I think they called it back then, Anyway, he plugs in the data tape, and it's it sounds like a bug. And actually, when he slows it down, it's Kirk talking. When you speed it up, it sounds like insectoid, bug. So that's another factor of this. Is that what happens when our vibration starts increasing and getting much faster? Does it just seem insectoid-like, that buzz-like? And another factor with that would be like the ant people that the Hopi talk about, and that supposedly the J-Rod and maybe it was Matilda O'Donnell interview, I think. People have asked me about that, where they talk about that there was actually a war or a catastrophic event, and a lot of our humanity went down into these caves and they underground, and there they developed insectoid features after generations. So that's another possible explanation for some of this. But it comes around, I think, to these insectoids quite a bit and the different types of them. Okay, you've got the praying mantis that I've talked about on several other several other videos. I'll link some of those, and actually the different types of them. You've got the ones that are very large, like 20 feet tall, 25 feet tall. They claim to be the seeders of galaxies. You've got the others that are like normal sized, a little bigger, 8 feet tall, that have the light coming out of their mouth and off their heads. Kind of interesting phenomenon there. And you've also got the black praying mantis that no one talks about, melanin dominant mantis, that from somebody like Robin McClendon that says she's in contact with, and said that they're also not just melanin, but they're on the EM spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum. So that's fascinating, and it's definitely food for thought, if nothing else. We don't think about the beings that might be of that nature, So the black praying mantis is another one. And that's just these other various insectoids. I'm sure it goes on and on into miniaturization and other things, so I won't address all that. But it's just food for thought, if nothing else, to expand our parameters. Not all of them are hostile, like from Eridani. I'll just say that. Some of them I think they're good and bad, and maybe they run the gamut. They're not all Brundlefly, Brundlefly throwing up on some stuff. Anyway, quickly, one other thing on there, it kind of makes me think of the Predator too. As explained to me, think about it, the Predator, you think at first they were reptilians. They're based on their skin. When you actually look at their mandibles, they're insectoids of some type. They've got that's the mandibles of an insect. Fascinating. Food for thought, if nothing else, all right? There again, that goes back to the hostile nature. But I think just to expand our parameters, that's all. Please press the like button, share the video, help me beat that algorithm. And thank you to everybody on Patreon, and it's encouraging me to go forward with this. And please keep sharing knowledge with each other. Much love. Peace.